Hello and welcome to the big picture. The first woman president of the Indian Republic is on the verge of demitting office after a rather quiet 5 years in office. Her tenure, which was marked by sobriety and lack of any flamboyant display, may be termed by some as dull or just adequate. But the fact is that the President Pratibha Patil brought a feminine correctness to the exalted position. In contrast to the rather non-controversial tenure, both her beginning and the ending of the term were marked by controversies. After a rather surprise nomination by the UPA, seen as a compromise candidate, the campaign for the election witnessed some allegations being raised against her and her family members. The controversy tided over after she assumed office. Towards the end of her tenure, however, once again controversy knocked on her doors, with objections being raised about a post-retirement home in Pune, dislocating war widows and ex-defense personnel. In a rather unprecedented manner, she issued a press release expressing deep shock over the controversy and decided to forego the accommodation. When she assumed office, she had asserted that she would not be a rubber stamp president and that she has her own individuality. As she demits office today, we will look at her tenure and also discuss if she indeed lived up to her own assertions and what has been her contribution as the Rashtrapati. To discuss this, I have with me today Vijay Naik, a senior journalist and someone who has followed the career of President Pratibha Patil for decades. Prof.Sushma Yadav of the Indian Institute of Public Administration, and we will be joined soon by a couple more guests. Welcome to all of you. Vijay Naik, you have seen her and you have known her for decades now. She started a political career as far back as 1967. In fact, she was a deputy minister in 1967, much earlier than actually before the new president Pranab Mukherjee had taken any office.
Absolutely. She started her career very early from Maharashtra. And I think it was a kind of a ladder which she went on climbing step by step to become the president of India. I remember, it was very interesting, tenure of her as a deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha also. She conducted her very well, in fact. And as the minister in Maharashtra, as the governor of Rajasthan, also as the deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha, she conducted her very well. In fact, as you said earlier, that she has been a non-controversial person throughout her career. But what happened before she became the president, a lot of controversy was there about the allegations of some.
Vijay Naik, let us look at the way she was nominated. Just going back 5 years, how those days, those were very tense days because we were, Shivraj Patil's name was very much up in the, up above everybody else. There was Somnath Chatterjee's name also, Dr. Karan Singh's name, and here this name was pulled out of the hat.
But you also know that the name was pulled out of the hat in the sense that it was Sonia Gandhi, who really wanted the first woman president of India to be made. And it was very interesting that when the name came, it came from the left party's Mr. Bardhan.
Mr. Bardhan of the CPI.
Bardhan of the CPI. He searched the name and it was immediately accepted actually.
How did, you please, for the viewer's sake, Bardhan proposing somebody like Pratibha Patil who was not in the radar of anybody at all. None of us had her in our radar. Nobody had predicted her name. How did Bardhan pull her name out of front?
I think
she was governor of Rajasthan, right?
Not only that. Bardhan is Marathi. He comes from Vidarbha. Mrs. Pratibha Patil comes from Vidarbha, from Amravati, and that she had a political career which was non-controversial, and that Sonia Gandhi wanted a woman president, that she was governor of Rajasthan. These were all the qualifications which added to her becoming the president and the nominating the president. And it was very interesting that she herself never thought that her name would come. And today also in a speech, She said that I never thought that I would become the president after 20 years when she was
mentioning about Venkatraman.
About Venkatraman, you see.
Yes.
So in fact, it was a bit of luck, and secondly, it was a support, not only by Sonia Gandhi, but also the left party, in the sense that time it was the left parties which were supporting the then government of Mr.
And they had a big say in this.
They had a big say, whether it was the presidentship or the nomination, or whether it was 1, 2, 3, the agreement with United States of America.
Absolutely.
It was the left parties which had a lot of say.
Right.
And perhaps I think that clicked. And therefore I think it was a combination of both the things. It was a combination of a career, and it was a combination of the luck.
We can say that she was in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. She was in the right place at the right time, and she was surprised herself also that she was at the right place at the right time.
Absolutely. Let me go to, we are joined by Prabha Thakur, a Congress MP from Rajasthan. Prabha ji, welcome to the show. Prabha ji, आप प्रतिभा पाटिल जी को जब से वो गवर्नर थे तब से शायद आप जानते थे, उससे भी पहले भी शायद आप जानते थे। जब वो राजस्थान के गवर्नर थे और जब ये कहीं अभी जैसे हम डिस्कस कर रहे थे यहाँ, प्रतिभा पाटिल का नाम तो कहीं नहीं था और सडनली उसका नाम आ गया और वो प्रेसिडेंट यूपीए के प्रेसिडेंट के नॉमिनेट हो गए। तब आप उनसे मुलाकात होती थी, तब उनका क्या राय था और उनका क्या रुख था?
देखिए, पहले तो ये बताऊं कि जो महामहिम श्रीमती प्रतिभा ताई पाटिल हैं, वो एक बहुत ही सरल स्वभाव की और सादगी का जीवन जीने वाली और भारतीय संस्कृति की जो प्रतीक नारी, एक भारतीय नारी का प्रतीक रूप है। और मुझे खुशी इस बात की भी है कि उनका संबंध महाराष्ट्र और राजस्थान दोनों से है। महाराष्ट्र की वो वहाँ की बेटी हैं और शी इज़ डॉटर ऑफ महाराष्ट्र एंड डॉटर इन लॉ ऑफ राजस्थान। तो इस नाते भी जब राष्ट्रपति पद के लिए उनके नाम की घोषणा जब हुई, जो कि अकस्मात ही हुई, और मैं इसके लिए बहुत, आप जिनका भी नाम लें कि किसने नाम प्रस्तावित किया, किसने रखा, मुझे वो जानकारी नहीं है। नाम तो कई प्रस्तावित हुए, लेकिन मैं धन्यवाद विशेष देना चाहूँगी यूपीए की अध्यक्ष, कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी जी को, जिन्होंने उनके नाम पर खुशी से अपनी सहमति प्रकट की और उनको स्वीकृति दी। और उनकी स्वीकृति के साथ ही सारे सहयोगी जो थे, उन्होंने भी उनके नाम को स्वीकार किया, क्योंकि एक तो उनका खुद का एक सेवाभावी बहुत लंबा राजनीतिक कैरियर रहा है। इसके अलावा उनका एक बेदाग छवि रही है, जिसे कुछ लोगों ने उस समय विवादास्पद बनाने की कोशिश भी की, लेकिन जो बात में कोई सच्चाई नहीं होती वो कोई दूर तक तो चल नहीं सकता। प्रतिभा ताई जब गवर्नर थी, महामहिम राज्यपाल राजस्थान की, उस समय उनसे कई बार मिलने का मुझे मौका मिला। उससे पहले भी जब वो महाराष्ट्र में पीसीसी चीफ भी रहीं और पदों पर भी रहीं, मुझे उनसे मिलने का मौका मिलता रहा, क्योंकि मैं भी 30 साल से कांग्रेस में ही हूँ और कांग्रेस में ही काम कर रही हूँ कार्यकर्ता के रूप में। और आज भी प्रतिभा ताई का जो महामहिम का जो भाषण था, संसद के दोनों जो सदन थे वो एकत्रित थे, और सेंट्रल हॉल में उनका जो भाषण था, विदाई समारोह था, बड़े भावुक क्षण आए उस समय। एक गवर्नर के रूप में भी उन्होंने राजस्थान में बहुत ही एक संवेदनशील अपना रुख रखा। चाहे जब वहाँ पे कोई भी समाजों के आपसी झगड़े हुए, दंगे फसाद हुए, विशेष तो उन्होंने कानून और व्यवस्था का खुद भी जायजा लिया। और क्योंकि गवर्नर जो होती हैं वो कुलपति भी होती हैं विश्वविद्यालयों की, तो उन्होंने उनमें काफ़ी रुचि ली कि शिक्षा का क्या है, सब जगह बराबर पोस्टिंग है कि नहीं है, नियुक्तियां हैं प्रोफेसर्स की, प्राध्यापकों की कि नहीं है। इसके अलावा जो भी हम उन्हें कभी कोई ज्ञापन देते थे उस समय बीजेपी की सरकार थी और वसुंधरा जी उस समय मुख्यमंत्री थी। तो हम जो भी कभी कोई बात होती, हम ज्ञापन देते, उसे वो बड़ी संवेदनशीलता के साथ देखती और उसके बारे में बात करती।
Okay, Prabha ji, please stay on. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Sushma. She made one point. She said she's an epitome of Indian womanhood. The way she conducted herself in these last 5 years.
Right.
You think it has enhanced the image of the Indian woman in the international forum?
Surely it has. Although I think when she started visiting some holy men, and if you remember in the beginning.
Right in the beginning, there was one controversy.
There was one controversy. But otherwise, the way she has carried herself, and I can say it because we've had groups from NRI students in our institute.
Right.
And most of them were so proud of having a woman president and a president with, complete dignity and control. The way she has carried herself, I think nobody can be left with any doubt that she carried herself with all cultured dignity, as we say it.
No, but going back to her nomination itself, see, there has been criticisms from certain circles in the past that, the post of the president has become some sort of, or periodically become some sort of a sinecure.
True.
Right? Do you see this as a continuation of that process, or making a woman the president of India was an important and was a necessary thing?
Look, from the perspective of gender,
right,
or being a woman,
right,
surely it was good and it was required. But as a political scientist or a student of political science, we very well know why she was nominated.
Right.
Not that she was in any way representing the women's movement in India.
Right.
No. But she did represent
in her
Indian
own
women.
way. In her own way, she seemed to have.
She seemed to have, surely, and even as a president, she has been able to take certain areas of women empowerment to surely much ahead, like this, empowerment mission which she has created, which takes care of all the programs and missions which are running around women.
Right.
And the very fact that she was the president surely lent a chapter of dignity, a chapter of empowerment to women itself. Like when Mrs. Gandhi was the Prime Minister, not that every woman got empowered,
right,
but the very fact that a head of the state or head of the government is a woman, in international arena, it surely enhanced India's image as a nation which respects women. And I usually say that in India, and that is the difference, had there been a Hillary Clinton in India, she would have won left, hands down. Here, without even working as much, of course, there were forces behind. You have a woman president, and that became I think it was a master stroke, which Mrs. Sonia Gandhi at that time really went for.
No, we had this very unusual in the last 5 years where the speaker, at least last 2.5 years, the speaker is a woman. The leader, the UPA chairperson is a woman. And
the leader of opposition is a woman.
The leader of opposition is a woman, and the president of India is a woman. This is quite a unique situation. I don't know when we will be able to get this kind of arrangement again.
Yes.
Anyway, we need to go into a short break now. We will come back very soon. Please keep watching. Welcome back. We are discussing the 5-year tenure of President Pratibha Patil, who will be demitting office in the next couple of days. Vijay, Naik. One is about the certain controversies which were raised, and they slowly died down initially. But there is, as she was finishing her term, again she got into another controversy. How justified was that controversy about her accommodation in Pune?
Well, Pune accommodation, of course, the issue was raised by the local people actually.
Right.
Although it was in cantonment area, it was in the name of the war widows. It was
Right.
being talked about, and when it became really tense, actually, very intense controversy was raised. I think perhaps she also understood that the things are not okay, and she herself offered, in fact, as you know, to relinquish that particular.
It's quite an unprecedented thing that the President of India, gives that kind of a press note saying.
Normally
she's quite hurt by that.
Yeah, she was very hurt, and it was for the first time I think any president would have done like that. That she issued a kind of a clarification that she doesn't want to have it. You say now she has in that shown a large-heartedness. Number one, it was any accommodation for the president is decided by the government of India.
Right.
By the state government also, in consultation with each other actually.
Right.
They had consulted, you see, they had selected, and after that when it was found out that things were controversial and that particular place was not okay, then she had come herself voluntarily, she did it, you see. Now she is, a few days back we had a meeting with her also, and she said that this time she is going to stay in Delhi for 6 months.
Okay.
And then she would be shifting to Pune.
Right.
And another accommodation is being found out because that is not ready.
Okay.
Therefore, the government of India has given another accommodation in Delhi, and both herself and her husband, Mr. He will be, both of them will be staying.
Right.
In fact, very interesting thing was told by Mr. Devi Singh ji to us, you see, saying that he said that first 10 years were okay for us because we were at one place. But then after that, it had become a nomadic life for us.
Absolutely.
In the sense from shifting from 5 years, then again 5 years, then again 5 years, it was kind of a nomadic life we were leading, that we were going from one place to another place to another place, you see.
Right.
For the first time, they said that after her retirement, we would be staying at one place and then we would not be nomads.
That, again, after 6 months.
Yeah, after 6 months, that's so. So that was the thing, and now I think that things have been, the controversy is almost now over. Now I think now she'll be going, and
Sushma, coming to her own statement when she started her tenure, she was asked, are you going to be a rubber stamp president? What kind of a president are you going to be? She said, I am not going to be a rubber stamp president. I have my own individuality. And do you think at the end of these 5 years, she has lived up to her own image of herself that she will not be a rubber stamp president?
I will look at it in a different way. It was a tenure where there was hardly much scope for political controversies.
Right.
One, because UPA was strong enough and they didn't touch very many state governments.
And also the 2009 elections did not provide that kind of an opportunity.
Because it could have been tested had there been some state governments which Congress would have thought of disturbing,
right,
or which would have been vulnerable to that kind of disturbance, then this would have happened. But I can say, like what Vijay said, the monarch has the right to be consulted, the right to warn,
right,
and right to be informed and advise. I think she has never had the chance to warn. That kind of opportunity didn't come, and that has stopped coming in Indian political system, partly because we've really made it quite
especially
political.
The dismissal of governments and has become a very tough thing for any central government to dismiss any state
Till there
government.
are coalitions. Till there are coalitions.
As there are coalitions. Vijay Naik, what's your view on this?
no, I think you see
Whether she was a rubber stamp president or not.
I know, as she said,
In fact, during all these 5 years, we actually we didn't see anywhere people saying that she's a rubber stamp.
No.
there were no occasions.
There were no occasions.
No occasion. You remember that during emergency time also, we had one cartoon when Fakhruddin Ali was in a bathtub, you see, and
signing the proclamation.
Those kind of occasions have not come for this president, luckily.
Right.
Fact, there have been not been clashes between the center and the state in that big way also, or the governors using their powers also, except in 1 or 2 cases it has happened. You see.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Gujarat it has happened.
Yes.
And there also the criticism was there, but there was no direct clash between them. And I think there's no occasion for her to be kind of looking to be seen as a rubber stamp of the center actually.
Either rubber stamp or as an activist.
Or activist also of the center. That is what.
Can I
Yeah, please.
I also would like to add there have been controversies, not that she was free of them, but the way she has come out of them is quite dignified.
Yes.
You know, whatever, either she kept quiet and was quite demure, and you know, that quietness also kills controversies at times.
Quietness and the way, the dignified way in which
and then the kind of press note, like in the end now she issued. So that was a quiet ending of the controversy.
Yes. Let me go to Prabha Thakur.
जो जर्नी थी टू द साउथ अफ्रीका, मुझे उनके साथ जाने का मौका मिला था.
हाँ, बोलिए प्रभा जी.
जी, मुझे उनके साथ जाने का मौका मिला जब वो अभी उनकी लास्ट विजिट जब थी साउथ अफ्रीका के लिए, तो मैं भी डेलीगेशन में उनके साथ गई थी. उस समय मुझे उन्हें बहुत करीब से देखने का मौका मिला. एंड जो व्हाट यू आर आस्किंग कि वो रबर स्टैंप रही कि नहीं रही,
एकदम
मैं ये कहना चाहती हूँ, द प्रेसिडेंट इज द कस्टोडियन ऑफ द डेमोक्रेसी
एंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन
एंड द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन.
राइट.
एंड उन्होंने अपने जो दोनों ही वो हैं उन फर्ज ड्यूटीज़, वो उनको बहुत अच्छी तरह से निभाया. चाहे कलाम साहब के समय में भी जो भी गवर्नमेंट बिल्स या और कुछ भी जो अप्रूव करके गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से जो भेजा जाता है, हार्डली मेरे ख्याल में एक बार या दो बार उन्होंने कोई बिल उन्होंने फॉर रीथिंकिंग के लिए अपने कमेंट्स लिखकर भेजे थे.
लेकिन वो भी इतना बड़ा कंट्रोवर्सी नहीं बना.
नहीं, लेकिन क्या है कि पता नहीं क्यों ये भी एक, खैर सोनिया जी को बधाई तो ये कि इनको ये बनी और आज स्पीकर भी महिला हैं. और प्रतिभा ताई कोई एकदम नई तो नहीं थी कोई सोशल सेक्टर में या पॉलिटिकल उसमें, वो भी खूब अच्छे से अपना जानती थी कि क्या उनकी ड्यूटीज़ हैं, उन्होंने निभाई. शी was more concerned about the problems of women, atrocities on the women, and for the children she was more concerned. Her area for education and health, she is more concerned.
Right.
साउथ अफ्रीका जब हम गए, मैंने देखा how much she is concerned with the nation.
Right.
She went to the place where Gandhi ji traveled in the train.
Right.
We visited that railway station in the same type of train.
Right.
And she was looking after everybody. She was almost asking me every day, खाना खाया कि नहीं खाया, ठीक से नींद आई.
So प्रतिभा जी एक she brought in,
एक उनमें एक महिला में जो एक ममता होती है
एकदम,
वो भी उनके अंदर मैंने देखी वहाँ पे
एकदम.
और भारत के प्रति ऐसा नहीं था. कुछ लोगों ने ये भी कहा राष्ट्रपति जी के साथ उनके बच्चे जा रहे हैं, हस्बैंड जा रहे हैं,
और बहुत सारे
कौन से राष्ट्रपति जी के साथ नहीं गए. ये तो परंपरा रही है, ये राष्ट्रपति जी का प्रिविलेज होता है. इस बारे में इस तरह की बातें महामहिम के पद के लिए भी कहे जाना शोभा नहीं देती, जबकि वो उसमें है. हाँ, हमारे साथ करीब 25-30 मीडिया के भी साथी थे एकदम, वो भी हमारे साथ में थे.
हर बार मीडिया के साथ जाते ही हैं. और राष्ट्रपति घूमने नहीं जाती हैं. मैं आपको बताऊं, मैंने मुश्किल हो गया, हम लोग कहीं घूमने जाते 10 दिन में, सचिन पायलट जी भी उस दौरे में थे, हम कहीं कोई शॉपिंग के लिए जाने को समय नहीं मिला. एवरी डे वी वर हैविंग 3 मीटिंग्स एवरी डे, 2-3 मीटिंग्स. और उसमें सब में कहीं न कहीं वो कोई जो बिजनेसमैन लोगों से जो बात करना, जो इंडियन बिजनेसमैन हैं वहाँ पे, वो कैसे इंडिया में और इन्वेस्ट करें और साउथ अफ्रीका में और कैसे एक प्रेसिडेंट का एक डिप्लोमेटिक रोल होता है. वो डिप्लोमेटिक रोल अदा करते हैं प्रेसिडेंट जब बाहर जाते हैं.
तो उन्होंने बखूबी वो अपना रोल अदा किया वेरी सक्सेसफुली एकदम. और वो शी इज क्वाइट एबल प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया, वी कैन कॉल दैट.
एब्सोल्युटली.
सो ये छोटी छोटी बातों को लेकर के प्रेसिडेंट जैसे पद को लेके कंट्रोवर्सी होती है, तो ये अफसोस की दुख की बात है.
ओके.
तो मैं तो कहती हूँ
ओके प्रभा जी, वी आर ऑलमोस्ट रनिंग शॉर्ट ऑफ टाइम. विजय, लास्ट फ्यू वर्ड्स. Having succeeded a person like APJ Abdul Kalam, who was a very flamboyant president, he became a people's president. He was there all over the place. Obviously, in comparison, she looked a little dull, and but at the end of the day, I think she has played her role adequately. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think that she has played her role adequately. I think she has looked after the women, welfare during her tenure. She had done a lot of things. In fact, she was telling us also that the point of high point was that she was able to fly a aircraft, you see, which was a
at that age. In fact, the most defining picture of her entire tenure should be that where she got into a fighter aircraft.
And that gives such a kind of image for the woman of India, president of India for the country.
Okay, Sushma, last words to you.
I think not merely that, she did empower women by her being. And she also discussed, I think, some very serious issues about Indian agriculture not being an industry.
In fact, yesterday, day before yesterday, also she in her final.
And that was, I think, her dedication also to her area where drought hit agriculture.
She comes from the region where it is the worst hit as far as
creates havoc. So I think as a president, despite starting with all those controversies and during the tenure also there were things, she could manage her dignified being and her dignified execution of the authority, which is merely constitutional in constitution itself.
So, yes.
The last week of her tenure, you see, in the office, as she has just said, the rain-fed areas report, which was submitted by the governor's committee.
Absolutely.
And Patil, that was the last thing, you see, and that report, which was submitted by Mr. Patil to the president, has now gone to the Prime Minister's office also, and it will be acted upon because in India, rain-fed areas are very important areas for the point of view of agriculture, in which she has taken the lead as a president.
Absolutely. So, the 5-year tenure of President Pratibha Patil may not have been very dramatic or very flamboyant, but in her own quiet, sober way, she has managed to put a stamp of herself. The fact that she was the first woman president of this republic after nearly 60 years of independence is itself a record which will never be overtaken by anybody else. And of course, in her post-retirement tenure, as she has herself said, she will not be keeping quiet, she will be quite active. And as Vijay Naik pointed out, her interests in the rain-fed areas and the problems of agriculture will be topmost on her mind. Thanks to all my guests. Thank you, Prabha Thakur, Vijay Naik, and Sushma Yadav. Please keep watching. We'll come back with another issue on the big picture tomorrow at the same time.